Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my 25 books that I want to read in 2025. So my 2024 list didn't go great, but I did do really good on the ones that were books that were were the next book in a series that I need to read. So I have decided to do that again this year. Instead of having any first books in series, I will start enough series on my very own. Like, I have no trouble starting new series, but I have a lot of trouble continuing series. Again, I read a lot of first books in series. I own hundreds of first books in series that I haven't read. And so this is to help me continue on in series or decide if there are series that I want to continue in. So I picked 25 books that are at least the second book in a series or farther in a series, just to be able to check off that I made progress in series. So again, I didn't make, you'll see in my goals a couple days ago that I did not mention anything about series because, again, I'm a big series reader, so I don't really need any help starting series, but I really do need help continuing and completing. So my list here is mostly all continuations in series. Some, again, I said most of these are second books in series, so that means that I read the first book and I haven't continued. And then I have a good portion that are also farther in a series. And there's a couple books that, that's kind of, there's only a few books that I'm deep into a series that I just read periodically. So we'll see how it goes. So here we go. So let's first talk about the ones that are second books in series. So either I read the first book last year or in the last couple years. Most of these are from last year. Most of these, except for two, I think. But those are kind of different, so I'll talk about them when we get there. So I do want to continue the Legends of Thesamar series with book 2 of Vows and Ruins. This is one of the books that I have started at one point, but I will have to restart it because now it's been several months and I don't remember what happened. So this again is a fantasy romance and I would like to read that. I'm not going to explain everything. I'm just we're going to go. This is the second book in the fairy tale retelling series by Scarlett St. Clair. Did I say that this was by Helen Schurer? Sorry. Anyway, so this is book 2. In this series, Apples Dipped in Gold. So it's a short, they're little fairy tale retellings. I do want to get to that. I do have a big, massive one. I do want to read Words of Radiance. This is my 2-part one. So this is part 1. So I have a second book to this as well. This is the second book in the Stormlight Archive. I did finish The Way of Kings in 2024. So I want to continue. So I'm going to put Words of Radiance on here. And hopefully I'll get to book 2 at least. I have The Undermining of Twilight and Frank by Megan Bannon. This is the second one in the Heart and Mercy series. I really liked The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, so I want to continue this series, and I just haven't yet. Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner is the second book in the Fallen Gods trilogy. So the third book is coming out, I think is that April or something? Maybe, I don't remember when it's coming out. But I'd really like to finish the second book before the third one comes out. And this one I did start one day, but I will restart again because it's been a while. But anyway, this is fantasy with a lot of gods and I just really enjoyed the first book. So I want to continue to the second book. A series that I meant to read as soon as I bought these, which is Filthy Rich Vampires Second Right, is book 2. In the Filthy Rich Vampires series by Geneva Lee. I really liked book 1, and the ending of book 1 is like, and you want to know what happens. And I did, again, it was one of those ones where, I didn't read. I read a page. Sorry. So it doesn't really count. I just put my bookmark in there, I guess. So I meant to read this at one point, and I didn't. So this is book 2 of a 4-book series. And then there's another series with Fae. So I want to get through the vampire one. So I need to at least read, I want to read that series, but we'll say the second one, Second Right. Again, that's, a vampire, a paranormal romance kind of thing. I want to continue in the Adrienne and Isolde series with Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. So this one, I really enjoyed King of Battle and Blood, and so I'd like to continue. Again, they have a prequel coming out in this year as well, so I'd like to get caught up so I'm ready for the prequel. The second book in the Tomes and Tea series by Rebecca Thorne, Pirate's Life for Tea. These are Sapphic fantasies. They are so much fun. I really liked the first book, so I'd like to continue that series before the next book comes out in like April. So some of these I would like to get done earlier in the year because the next book's coming out in this series, so I want to catch up and be at least caught up until the next book comes out. I also have My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. So I read the first one not last year, but the year before. So this was, I should have read this last year, just didn't get to it. This was one of the ones that, again, Barnes & Noble canceled my order, so I bought it later. So I didn't buy it on a pre-order because they canceled that one order, which is still weird to me. But this is a vampire romance, so we want to do that. Cooper just wants to be helpful here. He is in my way, as always. The second book in the Kingmaker Chronicles by Amanda Bouchette, Breath of Fire. I really want to continue this series. I just didn't get around to it. This is an older fantasy romance, but I hear really good things. And a fifth book is coming out in this. So again, I'm only on book 2, but I just started this last year. So I'm hoping to make some progress in this series this year. We'll see. The West Wind by Alexander Warwick is the second book in the Four Winds fantasy romance series. I can't remember. This one has to do with a different section of this world than the North Wind, which is the first one. And I don't remember what the fairy tale inspired is. The myth of Hero and Leander and the Scottish ballad Tamlin. So anyway, it's another kind of fantasy romance with some folklore-ish kind of thing. I'm going to put this on here because I'm hoping this is an easy win because I am going to read this and I haven't read it yet, is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I know I could have put Onyx Storm on here, but let's be honest, I need to get through Iron Flame first. So, hopefully I'll get to the second book in the Imperium before the third book, Onyx Storm, comes out. We'll see how that goes. I also need to read Terminal Uprising, which is the second book in The Janitors of the Post-Apocalypse by Jim C. Hines. Oh, I meant to read this like 3 times last year and I just never got to picking up the second book in this series. It's a sci-fi comedy kind of thing. I mean, again, there's a lot of other stuff going on, but I meant there's some good humor in here too, but it's also about some humans who in the first book are kind of forced to take control of the ship because of something that happens, and then there's a lot of conspiracy stuff. But it's a fun sci-fi. I do want to continue that trilogy and get to that. So then I have 2 that are both the second books in series, but they will require me to reread book 1 because it has been years. So the first one is Heir to the Shadows by Anne Bishop. This is the second book in the Black Jewels series. I own a lot of the books because I love Anne Bishop. I love the Others series. It's like one of my favorite series of all time. But Black Jewels is really a dark fantasy, like really dark. The first book, Daughter of the Blood, is super dark. And I read that, I think, in 2020 with Maria at MH Books back in the day. I think it was in 2020, but it was around that time. I forgot to look up exactly when. And it was hard to read that book. But I need to reread it to go on to this one, I'm pretty sure, because it's been, as I said, it's been almost 5 years and I don't recall enough of it to, I think I blocked it out because it was so brutal. So I might not have to read every scene because maybe it'll be just a skim read, but I need to at least go back and read a little bit of it before I continue to book 2. And again, this is like a 9-book series, but I am stuck on book 2. So again, it will require a reread or a refresh of some sort on book 1 to read that one. And then I really want to read the October Day series. And this is book 2, A Local Habitation. I read Rosemary and Rue years ago. Like, I don't even remember now how many years ago. And I have almost picked this book up a dozen times, but I think by now I have to reread Rosemary and Rue. So I'm going to do that sometime this year and then start this series. This book series is, I know it's in the teens, I think, of how many books there are now. She's still writing books. And again, it's a fae, urban fantasy in San Francisco. So I really want to reread Rosemary Rue and then continue on. So anyway, those are all the books that are book 2 that I put on the list. Okay, so that's quite a bit. So then I have a couple that are book 3 in a series to continue. My Lady Quicksilver is the 3rd book in the London Steampunk series by Beck McMaster. So I am currently rereading book 2 because I read this series many years ago and then I abandoned it for dumb reasons. I don't remember now. And then, so I've reread book 1, the novella 1.5, and then I'm reading book 2, Heart of Iron, right now. So once I finish my reread, then I can go on to read My Lady Quicksilver. And again, these are vampires and shifters, and it's like, you know, Victorian London, but it's very different. Like, it's a different world. Like, it's just, but I really enjoy those. So they're steampunk, so they're fun. So anyway, that's book 3 in that series. And then I have book 3 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage, Lost and Lassoed. This is book 3. So I have this. So, I mean, I think there's a book 4 coming out too, so I'd like to read that too, but I need to read this one first. So I'm putting that one on the list because that's a contemporary cowboy romance. Because I do want to continue to some other ones to try out, but we'll see. Also, number 3 is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I did start this. I'm only about 88 pages. Oh my God. That's 88 pages. Oh my gosh, this book is long. I don't know how long this is. This is pretty long. Oh, it's 700 pages. So, this is a book that, again, I have to be in the mood for Sarah J. Maas. I found that a lot of times I have a trouble with the first 100 pages of her novels, not because nothing is happening. It's just, I want different things to be happening. And right where I stopped is where it's going to gear up. But at the time I couldn't read this. So again, this is another one where I might backtrack a little bit and reread some of this, but I do want to finish A Court of Wings and Ruin this year. I would love to finish the whole ACOTAR series, be caught up on that, and maybe even start Throne of Glass later in the year, but we'll see how we go. I'm putting this one on the list. So then this is book 4 in this series of Matthew Riley, The Four Legendary Kingdoms. This is in the Jack West Jr. Kind of action adventure series. So I am finishing my reread. Actually, I hope to finish today my reread of book 3. So then I can go and read the books that I have not read. I've had them all for years. I just want to continue these. These are military action adventure where there's ancient prophecies and they are racing against time and other countries trying to save the world, pretty much. So I don't know what happens in here because I don't remember the end of the 3rd book and I'm almost done with that. But there's more fun. It's just fun. It's just a fun book. And I really want to finish that series this year. So I'm hoping if I put it on here, I mean, I'm hoping. And then I'm putting book 5, Rising Tides by Taylor Anderson on this. This is the Destroyer Man series, which I have reread the first 3 books probably about 4 or 5 times. And I've read the 4th book once and I've never continued because I read them when they were coming out or just after they were coming out. I think there was like 3 or 4 of them out when I started. And I keep reading the first 3 books, rereading them. And then the 4th book, I only read the once because I never get that far because I keep putting my rereads too far ahead. So anyway, this is a series that I am planning to start over the reread again. I love the 3 books, the first 3 books though. So this is just alternate history where men from World War II are, men and women that are on destroyers in the Pacific, kind of near Java Sea kind of thing. And then they get thrown into another dimension, which is the Earth that has a different evolutionary track. And they it's just so fun because there is 1940s stuff and then they're in this other world. So it's like a sci-fi kind of thing, and also it has a lot of different creatures and stuff. I just love that book. Anyway, sorry, I'm ranting because I want to reread the books before that. But I put number 5 on my list because I've never made it to 5. So my goal is to reread the first 4 books to get to that one. So that one's the most ambitious of on my list, but I'm still hoping I do that this year. We'll see. Then I have, let's see, book 6 of the Dragonkin series by G.A. Aiken, How to Drive a Dragon Crazy. This is a series that I meant to finish like 2 years ago, but I think I'm like slowly reading these because after I read this one and the next 3 afterwards, I don't have any more of her books. I have to wait for things to be published, and she's already pushed out the book that was supposed to come out last year is now this summer. So I think that's the only reason why I'm still on book number 6 of this series. This is fantasy romance with dragon shifters. It's just a fun, these are hilarious. Again, J.A. Aiken and Shelley Lurston are the same writer. They are so awesome. Like, I just love those books. Anyway, so I think I'm just savoring those, but I'm going to put book number 6 on there to get a win because I know I'll read one of them this year at least. Then I have book, what did I say? This was 8 of the Shifters Unbound series by Jennifer Ashley. This is a series that I've been reading since they came out, and I kind of stopped reading for quite a few years, and now I'm trying to get back and finish all the books that I own on my shelf. So this is book number 8, and this is paranormal romance with shifters in these shifter towns that are like, they came out like 20 years before, and they have not been treated very well, but it's very, there's certain locations with different shifter towns, and we follow the one in Austin and Texas and a few other, like Las Vegas and one in North Carolina. Like, there's different spots, and we get to know a lot of characters. It's a huge ensemble cast, and there's a lot of novellas, but book number 8 is my next one, so I want to make sure I read that. And then the last one physically that I own is The Reluctant Vampire by Lindsay Sands. This is book number 15 in the Argono Vampire series. So this is a series that's up in the high 30s of books. I own nearly all of them. I think I'm missing like 4 or 5, but I'm still down at number 15. So I'm hoping to make some progress in this series this year. These are just funny paranormal romances with vampires following a lot of, characters that kind of build, the world just keeps building and building. And this one is another vampire one. We'll see, romance. Okay, so that's all so I have 23 of the books that I have physically, which is good. So again, my goal is to read off my shelves. So I'm excited to do that. So the other 2 I'm putting on this list, I mean, I could have put so many other next books in the series. I mean, a lot of romance. There's a couple romances I could have. I just picked the ones that first came to mind, I guess. There's so many. Even though it's 25 is a huge number, that shows you how many series I'm in the middle of. I do want to read book 2 of the in the Everseas series, which is the Everqueen. So that'll finish up that duet or duology, and then there's the Mist Thief comes after it, and there might be more books in the series coming. But I did really like the Everking last month, so I do want to continue on. So I put the Everqueen, which is book 2. I own the audiobook of this, so I will listen to it. That'll be that one. And then one I have on ebook that I'd like to read before, I'm going to buy a paperback when it comes out in the summer, but it was one of the ones I didn't get to in this fall due to I only got the ebook, which is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent, which is the first book in the Shadowborn duet, but it's in the world of the Crowns of Nyaxia. So anyway, so this is a fantasy romance. I'm really excited for this one as well. The last one was a fantasy with pirates, fantasy romance with pirates. Did I mention that? I forgot. Everqueen. Anyway, so this one I have on ebook. So I have an ebook, an audiobook, and then I have all these physicals, which I think there's only two or three of those that I have audiobooks to. And I might also have Words of Radiance on ebook somewhere. I'm not positive, but most of these are physical. And again, as I said, I'm mostly a physical reader. I do read audiobooks too, listen to audiobooks too. Ebooks, not so much, but with my new Kindle, I'm kind of hoping that won't be a problem. But those are all the books, the 25 books that I'm going to read in 2025. I think I've set myself up for success by picking next books in series of all series that I either started last year or ones I really want to get back to and continue. There are a few that are a little more stretch goals, like with the Destroyer Man series, and some of them I have to restart the series to read book 2. So I think there's still potential that I might not get it all done. But those are all the books, as I said. So if there are any series that you definitely think I should get to, let me know. Are you doing a 25 in 2025? I mean, I know the number is getting ridiculous, but I do read quite a bit of books during the year, and I also read mostly series, and that's why I picked series books this year, and I picked continuations of series. None of these finish a series. I mean, again, the duology one kind of does, but there's another book in that, that technically in that series. I think everything is like in the middle of series. Yeah, we're just gonna try to make progress in series this year. We'll see what happens, but I hope that this is a good way for me to get quite a bit of progress done on my series. So let me know what you think about that, and Cooper and I will see you later. Bye.